All right. Ian facing Les Straker. We're underway here at Metrodome. 4-7. That's ground ball second base X. We are looking at second baseman Lombardozzi. 2E18. 2E18. 2 and a 6. He'll get to that. E18 and a 12 is no problem. 13's an error, but 12 is no problem at all. So Ozzie Guillen grounds out to second base, and we're underway from the Metrodome. Not a wasted moment. Here's Carlton Fisk. 2-8, and that is a ground ball to short. Easy play for Greg Gagne. 2 up, 2 down. And that takes us to Ivan Calderon. 4-5, and that is going to be a ground ball to second. Again, handled there by Lombardozzi, and the White Sox go down in order. 1, 2, 3, go to the bottom of the first. White Sox nothing, Twins coming to bat. Rich Dotson will be facing Dan Gladden to start things off, followed by Lombardozzi and Puckett. Bottom of the first, no score, just underway. 3-4 for Gladden. That's a fly to right field, and Calderon hauls that in. 1 away. And that will take us to Steve Lombardozzi. 1-5, and he's going to ground it to short. Ozzie Guillen is there, 2 down. 2 up, 2 down for Kirby Puckett, center fielder. 3-6 for Puckett. 1-8's a single. That's a 1, so Puckett finally gets the first hit of the game. And Puckett needs a 4 through 6 to try to get the lead, but probably won't do it because Dotson's a -5, so they'll just hold him there. And here, well, you know what? We're going to go for the lead anyway because he's got the asterisk, and we need those caught stealing. So. He doesn't get the lead anyway, so it doesn't matter. So here's Kent Hrbek. 5-10, and that is a home run, 1-18, and that is a goner. Kent Hrbek. Home run, 2-run shot off of Rich Dotson. 18th home run of the season for Hrbek. And the Twins lead it 2-0. I would show it to you again, but we don't have time for that. So here's Gene Larkin. You don't need to see it anyway. 6-8. That's a 1-6 single. That's a 5 base hit. Inning continues with Roy Smalley, third baseman. Nothing on the habit. 2-7, and that's a base on balls. So the inning will keep going as they're getting to Dotson pretty good here in the first inning. Brings up Tom Bernansky in a clutch situation. 1 is a possible wild pitch. His wild pitch is a 5. And there is no wild pitch, so Dotson will pitch it. 5-5, and that's a fly to center field, and that will take care of business. But the Twins, 2 runs on the Kent Hrbek 2-run homer. At the end of 1, it is the Twins 2 and the White Sox nothing. And that takes us to the top of the second. And Straker will be facing Baines, Walker, and Hill for the White Sox. 5-9, and that is a fly to center. 1 down. Morning, Dan. Here's Greg Walker. Walker is first baseman for today's game, 2-6, and he's going to ground it to Gagne at short. So Straker on his game early. 2 up and 2 down, and here comes Donnie Hill. Second baseman, switch hitter. 4-2, switch hitter against the lefty is a ground ball shortstop X. That's Gagne, 2E24. 220, he'll get to that. E24 and a 9 shouldn't be a problem, I wouldn't think. Nope, no problem at all. And Gagne makes the play. So easy 2 innings for Straker. And the Twins will come back and try to add to their lead. Due up for the Twins will be the bottom of the order, Gagne, Butera, and then back to the top of the order for Gladden. 2-10, and that's going to be a ground ball to third. Easy play for Hewlett. 1 down. Here's Sal Butera. 2-4, and that's a ground ball back to Dotson. 2 up, 2 down for Dan Gladden. 2-9, and that's a base hit for Gladden. 2-out single. Gladden, to get the lead, needs a 4, 5, or 6. Does not get the lead. He will be held there. And here's Lombardozzi. 5-6, right-handed, is a fly to right field, and that's hauled in by Calderon. And this time Dotson gets through unscathed. We go to the third. 2-0 Twins. And up for the White Sox, bottom of their order, Boston, Williams, and Hewlett. One 6 for Boston, and that's a strikeout. First strikeout for Straker. Here's Ken Williams. 4-5, and that's a ground ball to second. Lombardozzi right on top of it. So Straker 8 up and 8 down. Number 9 hitter Tim Hewlett. 1-4, and that's a ground ball to third. So easy play, and Smalley's playing third instead of Gaetti once again. Not sure why, but he is. Doesn't matter why, it just is. So 3 up, 3 down, 9 in a row. Tired by Straker. We go to the bottom of the third, and it'll be Kirby Puckett leading off. Singled his first time up and scored in front of the home run from Herbeck. 4-8, and that's another time that Puckett's going to be on with this time a base on balls. First walk issued by Dotson. Puckett once again needs a 4, 5, or a 6. Doesn't get the lead. He's going to hold, and here's Herbeck. Homered his first time up. 6-9. This time he will fly it to center field where Ken Williams will put it away. 1 down, and that's going to take us to Gene Larkin. Five, 7, and that's going to be a ground ball shortstop X. They were holding Puckett on, so that means that Guillen's going to be a 3E21 instead of a 2E21. 3 and an 8, I don't think makes a difference, but it actually does. He's a G3 pound, so that's going to turn this into a single 2 stars. By holding the runner, that's cost him. And we'll check for an error. That's an 11, and he is an E21 at short. No 11 there, but it will be a base hit, 2 stars for the holding runner effect. And that puts runners on the corners with only 1 out, and Roy Smalley, the batter, infield, playing for the double play to get out of the inning. 4-5, switch hitter. That's a fly ball left field B. It's a good enough for a sacrifice fly. Coming in to score is Puckett. It's 3-0 Twins. Sacrifice fly by Roy Smalley. His 22nd RBI of the season. Twins lead 3-0. Larkin at first, 2 down for Bernansky, but Larkin's not going anywhere. 5-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. Guillen, 2E21. 2 and a 17 is good. E21 and a 16. There's a 15 and 17, but no 16, so good play for Guillen. But the Twins tack on a run and lead it 3-0 after 3. Top of the 4th we go. It'll be top of the order, Ozzie Guillen, Carlton Fisk, and Calderon due up against Straker. 611, and that's a ballpark blast for off a Straker for Ozzie Guillen, but he does have weak power. 17, though, is going to be out of range, so it's just going to be a fly to right. It is the first ball the White Sox have gotten out of the infield. Here's Carlton Fisk. 311 for Fisk, and that's a fly to right plus a possible injury. So 7 or higher, he's got to come out. 1 to 6, he can stay in, and he can stay in. So he fights off the potential nagging injury. Will stay in the game. And here is Calderon. 4-2, and that's a base on balls by Straker. First base runner for the White Sox. Calderon. That +4 from Straker. He will try to get the lead. Needs a 2 through 5. Doesn't get it. He'll hold. And here's Harold Baines. 4-9, and that's going to be an in-home run on a 1. Anything else, he flies to right. So he flies it out to Bernansky. And the inning is over. Go to the bottom of the 4th. Still 3-0. Favor the Twins. Greg Gagne steps to the plate. 2-8 for Gagne, and that's a base hit. Leadoff single for Gagne. He will get a lead on a 2 through 6. 7, he does not get the lead, so he will hold. And here is Butera. 1-7, and that is a ground ball to third. It's going to be a 5-4-3 around the horn double play. 2 quick outs. Two outs, bases clear. Back to the top of the order for Dan Gladden. 4-5, and that's a pop out to third. And that ends the inning. So we go to the 5th. Still 3-0 Twins. Les Straker will be facing Walker, Hill, and Boston here in the top of the 5th. Four 3, and that's going to be a ballpark single check. 1 to 16. That's good for a base hit. First hit of the game for the White Sox. Took them to the 5th inning to do it. Here is Donnie Hill. 4-8 for Hill, and that's going to be a 1 to 12 triple. Donnie Hill had 6 triples on the season. Gets one right here, his second on the replay. RBI triple from Donnie Hill. Cuts the lead to 3-1. Still nobody out. Here's Darryl Boston. Infield is back. They still lead by 2. 6-6, and that's a base on ball. So Straker starting to fall apart here in the 5th inning. Runners at the corners. Nobody out. Infield back for the double play. Ken Williams. 2-9, and that's a ground ball shortstop A. That is that double play. Taylor made 6-4-3 double play. The run's going to score, but they'll trade the run for the 2 outs. Makes the bases empty now. But the run scores to cut the lead to 3-2. And here's Tim Hewlett, bases empty, 2 down. 6-4, and that's a ballpark single and a 1 to 13. So a 2-out single for Tim Hewlett. Brings up Ozzie Guillen. 2-10 for Guillen, and that's a home run, 1 to 7. That's a 10, so he'll triple. Triple for Ozzie Guillen, who's just tied this ball game. Ozzie Guillen, triple number 7 on the replay. He had 7 total in the season. He gets the 7th right here. And we are tied up at 3 apiece just that quick. Here's Carlton Fisk. 2 outs, runner at third. 6-5, and it's a pop out to Herbeck at first to end the inning, but a 3 spot for the White Sox. And we got ourselves a tie ball game at 3 apiece going to the bottom of the 5th. For the Twins, it'll be Lombardozzi, Puckett, and Herbeck. 2 up. Hello, Jason. Here's Lombardozzi. 4-4. And that's a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Ken Williams. He is a 2E9. 2-10. He'll get to that. And an E9 and an 11. No problem whatsoever for Ken Williams. He makes the play. For the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Kirby Puckett. He is singled and walked. Hello, Mike. Good to see you. 4-6, and that's a ground ball to second. 2 down. Here's Herbeck. 2-8 for Herbeck. That's a solid single. He is 2 for 3. Trying to get something started here with 2 outs in the 5th. Not going to go anywhere. He doesn't, no threat to run. Here's Gene Larkin. He's 2 for 2. Is Larkin. 2-6 for Larkin. He's going to be 3 for 3. 1-7's a double. It's only a 2-star double, so Herbeck will have to stop at third. Second and third. 2 down, and here's Roy Smalley. 1-4, and that's a ground ball right back to Dotson to end the inning. So the Twins leave 2 runners in scoring position. We played 5 here at the Metrodome. We're tied at 3 apiece. This is the fatigue inning coming up for Les Straker, inning number 6. He's got to bounce back from a bad 5th inning. He's going to face Ivan Calderon to start things off. 6-10, and that is a catcher X. Not a very good catcher. Butera's a 4E5, but nobody's on base. 4-9 for a catcher. 4 and a 9 is a possible pass ball, but nobody's on base, so it's just a pop out, assuming there's no error. There's a 12, and Butera's an E5, and there is no 12, so it is going to be a pop out to Sal Butera for out number 1. And here comes Harold Baines. Oh, we got Hoppin' Dice. We're going to re-roll that. 2-5, and that's a ballpark blast for Harold Baines. 1-11, and that is gone. Harold Baines just gives the White Sox the lead, 4-3. They've come all the way back. Harold Baines, his second home run of the replay. He's been underperforming in that category. He had 20 real world. Gets his second this time around. RBI number 21, and the White Sox lead it 4-3. Here's Greg Walker. 4-8, and that's a triple 1-12. 19 is going to be a double. Now the Twins bullpen is going to start to stir. Les Straker's getting beat up. One more base runner, and he will reach fatigue. And Donnie Hill, your switch hitting second baseman, is up to the plate. He tripled his last time up. 2-7, and that's a pop out to Smalley at third base. 2 down. Now there's a clutch situation coming up for Darryl Boston. .210 for Boston. That's a fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. But the home run from Harold Baines gives the White Sox a 4-3 lead. Straker looks like he will come back for the 7th, at least to start it. Dotson now given the lead. They'll be facing the bottom of the order, Brunansky, Gagne, and Butera here in the bottom of the 6th. 6-7 against a right-hander is a strikeout for Dotson. That's his first strikeout. Took him six innings to get there, but he gets his first strikeout. Here's Gagne. 5-9, and that's a 1 for a triple. Anything else will be a single. So Gagne does single. Gagne now 2 for 3. He's going to be looking to get a lead. 2 through 6 will get him that lead. 6, he gets the lead. He's going to go. It's 15, being held to 13. -5's an 8. 1 to 8. Gagne steals it. And he's in there. It's a possible throwing error on Fisk. He's a T5. And it is a throwing error. So not only does he steal, but he causes Fisk to throw the ball away. Stolen base plus an error. And Gagne's at third, tying run with only 1 out. Infield is in. Butera, the batter, can't pinch hit for him. We're not in the 7th inning yet. So Dotson against Butera, the infield in. 6-11, and that's a ground ball pitch X right back to Dotson. He's an E14. He's a 2E14 with the infield in. 2 and an 8. We'll check the chart here. 2 and an 8 is a G3. Well, even if the infield's not in, the pitcher's always in, but the infield was in anyway. 9, and he is an E14. E14, there's no 9 there, so the G3 with the infield in and a runner at third. It says decide. Lead runner can attempt advance a base. Lead runner is Gagne, runs at a 17, so it's a pretty good idea to try to send him. So the calculation, running speed -4 plus defensive rating. So he's a 17, -4 is a 13. And Dotson's a 2 for a 15. So 1 to 15, he would score it. Do they throw the plate or do they concede the run and get the out on Butera? I think a 1 to 15, you want that, cut that run off. So they're going to throw for the plate. And if Butera reaches on the fielder's choice, so be it. 1 to 15, and he is scoring. 16 to 20, he is out. And he scores it. So it's going to be a fielder's choice RBI for Sal Butera. And we're tied at 4 apiece. Here's Dan Gladden. 1 out in the slow running Butera at first. 3-4 for Gladden as a fly ball to right field. 2 down. And we got Lombardozzi. He's over. That's a 1. So Dotson's wild pitch is a 5. No wild pitch. 1-5, and that's a ground ball to short. That will end the inning, but we are tied at 4 apiece at the end of 6 innings of play. And that run turns out to be unearned because of the throwing error on Fisk. Top of the 7th we go. And Straker's going to stay in there for now, but he may not be in there for too long. He will be facing Williams, Hewlett, and Guillen, but the bullpen is loosening. 1-4, and that's a ballpark single check. 1 to 13, and that's a 16. So as a righty, he did not get the hit. So that'll be a ground ball to short. As a lefty, he would have gotten the hit, but not as a righty. So ground out to short. Flips it over to Tim Hewlett, number 9 hitter. He's 1 for 2. 1-9, that's a pop up to third. Smalley is there, 2 down. And here comes Ozzie Guillen. 1-6 for Gian. That's a solid base hit. 2-out single for Gian. He's going to be looking to run. Gian, a 6 or a 7 gets him the lead. And he does not get the lead, so he will hold. And here comes Carlton Fisk. 5-9, and that is a line out to third base. There is a dot there, but he has not reached fatigue yet, so the line out to third is good. And Straker makes it through 7 innings. Probably going to cap him at 7 innings, but we will see how Tom Kelly feels about it when we get to the 8th. 7th inning stretch. We're going right on through here. Rich Dotson. No time to waste here. Kirby Puckett. 5-6, and that's a fly to right field. Calderon is out of there. I'm sorry, Puckett is out of there. I don't know why I said Calderon. That didn't make any sense. He flew it to Calderon. One away for Kent Herbeck. 5-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. Gian 2E21. 2-16, he gets there. E21 and a 12 for shortstop. Nope, no problems there. Gian makes the play. 2 down. And here's Gene Larkin. 3 for 3. 112, and now he's 3 for 4 as he flies to center to end the inning. That was a fatigue inning for Dotson, but he has full endurance going to the 8th as he gave up nothing. So we go to the top of the 8th. Still tied at 4. Twins won the real game 7-6. Straker will come back out. He's on the verge of fatigue, but they're going to leave him in there. Looking at the Twins bullpen, see who they have as the most rested pitchers. They do have Atherton. Well, the available guys are Atherton, Frazier, Behringer, and Reardon, all right-handers. And Keith Atherton appears to be the guy with the most rest. So Keith Atherton's loosening in the bullpen and would come in if Straker falters. So here's Fisk. That's a 5-5, and that's going to be a fly to right field. Bernansky hauls it in. 1 down. And that'll send us to Calderon. For 6, and that's going to be a strikeout. There's a dot there, but he has not reached fatigue yet. So Baines is out on strikes. 2 down. I'm sorry, that was Calderon. Well, that was Baines, not Calderon. What am I doing here? Fisk. Did I get the wrong? I didn't move the guys over enough. So let me go back and I'm going to reboot these 2 at-bats because I had the wrong guy apparently. At least according to the computer I did. Or according to my cards I did because it should have been Calderon. So let's 86 those 2 at-bats and restart the top of the 8th and make sure we get it right. As it is Calderon who gets to bat, not Fisk. So, but it was off the pitcher card, so we will keep the fly to right for Calderon because it was off the pitcher card. That didn't change. That was not affected, so we'll keep that. Harold Baines, we'll go ahead and roll for that again. 6-12, and that's a split. 1-6 is a single. That is a base hit for Harold Baines. So Baines with the base hit. Here comes Greg Walker. Three, 4 for Walker, and that's a ground ball second base A. That's a tailor-made 4-6-3 double play. Ends the inning. That's going to do it for Straker. They're going to cap him at 8 innings. And it could be Atherton, it could be Reardon, depending on if they take the lead or not. But 8 innings is in the books for Les Straker. Courtesy of the pitcher's best friend, a double play. Bottom of the 8th we go, and it's going to be still out there, Rich Dotson. He has not hit any kind of fatigue yet. Smalley, your batter. He is 0 for 1. Walk, sacrifice, fly. 6-3, switch hitter batting left, and that's a base on ball, so he'll walk. He will draw the base on balls again, and they will get a pinch runner for Roy Smalley. Twins will go to their bench for a pinch runner, and it will be Al Newman. Al Newman runs at a 15, where Smalley runs at a 9. So Al Newman, and Newman will stay in the game to play third base. So Newman will do the pinch running here in the 8th inning. Pinch runner Al Newman. See if he can get a lead. Well, they may not want him to get a lead. Let's see. Do they want to try it? No, they just want him to be fast on the bases, so they won't try for the lead. He will be held on, though, so it will open up a hole in the right-hand side of the infield. Here's Brunansky. 5-10, and that is an in-home run chance, 1-8. That's a 9, so that will be a triple for Brunansky. So Brunansky with a triple. And the Twins lead it 5-4. And now the White Sox bullpen starts to stir. For Brunansky, that's his first triple. He did have 2 triples on the season. That is his first triple on the replay. And the Twins now lead it 5-4. Now Jeff Reardon is loosening in the Twins bullpen, not Atherton, since they have the lead. Dotson still hanging in there, but the bullpen is active for the White Sox. They do have Bob James, their right-hander, in the bullpen. Infield is in now for Gagne. With nobody out, they can't afford to give up any more runs. 2-10. And as a ground ball to third B, they're going to get the Newman or Brunansky rather at the plate, 5-2 on the fielder's choice. Ground ball B's with the infield in is runners out at home from third. So Gagne reaches, but at the cost of the lead runner. Brunansky trying to score, and he is out of there, 5-2. As Fisk put on the tag. Here's Butera. 2-7 for Butera. He pops it up to Greg Walker, 2 down. And that'll bring up Gladden. Five, 2, struck him out, and that's going to end the inning. But the triple from Tom Brunansky has given the Twins a 5-4 lead as we go to the top of the 9th. That'll be all for Dotson. He'll go 8 innings. But now the Twins are calling in Jeff Reardon to try to save it. And we'll see what Reardon can do. They're also bringing in Gary Gaetti to play third base. He's a better third baseman than Newman is, obviously. So Jeff Reardon will be coming on. He is definitely not overworked. He's underworked, if anything. So Reardon will be on to try to save it. And due up for the White Sox, it's Hill, Boston, and Williams to face. See if I can fix this a little bit. Ooh, I got messed up. Let's try this over here. Trying to show as many of the cards as I can. Okay, I think that works a little bit better. Back it up just a hair or two. All right, so there we go. Donnie Hill will lead it off against Jeff Reardon. Top of the ninth, 4-7. And that is a base on balls, so not a good start for Reardon as he walks Donnie Hill. Hill, let's see if they're going to pinch run for Hill. They do have Gary Reedus. So Gary Reedus will pinch run for Donnie Hill. And he's going to be looking to get a lead. Try to get in scoring position. So Gary Reedus, a 2 through 6 will get him the good lead. And he gets the good lead. It's a 19 being held as a 17. But then you've got Reardon a +1 and Butera a +2. That's a 20. So basically a 1 to 19 he's going to be in there. And he is. So it's a stolen base for Reedus, the pinch runner. And he is in scoring position. He is in scoring position with nobody out. And now Reardon has to collect himself. Make sure I got this right on the computer. And due up for the White Sox is Darryl Boston. Reedus with excellent speed at second base. Batter. 4-4, and it's a ground ball third base X. Good thing they brought Gaetti in. He is a 1 with an E12. 1 and a 13. I don't think the runner can advance on that. 1 and a 13 is a G1, so the runner's got to hold at second base. That's an 11, and Gaetti is an E12. There's a 12 there, but no 11. So good play for Gaetti. Not sure if Newman or the original third baseman Smalley would have been able to handle that, but Gaetti certainly did. Here's Ken Williams. By 12, and that is a ballpark blast off of Jeff Reardon. It's a 1 to an 11, but that's a 14. Just a deep fly to left field. Jeff Reardon just missed giving up a 2-run home run. D20 was kind. We'll get a pinch hitter for Tim Hewlett. Last chance for the White Sox. They want to go their best hitter off the bench, which, according to this, isn't much. They will go to the switch hitter, Jerry Hairston, off the bench. Hairston to pinch hit here with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth, or top of the ninth, rather. So pinch hitting is Hairston. For Hewlett. Hewlett on the game was 1 for 3, but he's not a very good hitter average-wise, so they're going to go to Jerry Hairston. The only lefty they have on the bench. He's a switch hitter. Everybody else is right-handed, and they want to. Reardon's got a juicy left-handed side if he can get up off the pitcher card. That's a 2, balk or pass ball. We are looking at a balk rating on Reardon. Let's get Reardon's balk rating off the computer because it's not on the cards. His balk rating is a 0, so he cannot balk. So no balk to worry about. Hairston. 310 for Hairston. A 310 is a clutch hit. Look at that. Pinch hitting Jerry Hairston would have flown out to center, but there's an omega symbol there which gives him the clutch hit. And there is your tying base hit right there for Jerry Hairston coming through in the clutch. And brilliant managing comes through once again. Bringing in the right guy at the right time. Tie ball game at 5. That'll bring up Ozzie Guillen. Reardon with a blown save. 310 for Guillen. He flies to center to end the inning. So Reardon blows the save. He's just going to go 1 inning, but he's going to blow the save. We go to the bottom of the 9th. New third baseman for the White Sox will be Jerry Royster. He will take over at third base. So Royster will be your new third baseman and bat in the number 9 spot. And the White Sox will also need a new pitcher. And we'll see who they want to go to. It's not a save situation, so it wouldn't go to Bob James necessarily. See who they might want to go to. First of all, Lombardozzi, Puckett, and Herbeck. So we're looking probably at a right-hander. They're going to go to Jimmy Wynn out of the bullpen. They're looking to win with Wynn. Jimmy Wynn. So let's clean up some logistics in the computer, and we'll be ready to go for the bottom of the 9th. Royster now at third, and Jimmy Wynn in the ball game to pitch. Second base. That's right, Rita's pinch ran for Hill, so we need Manrique to play second base. So Fred Manrique is going to be a second baseman. So Manrique will stay in the game to play second, or come into the game to play second base, since they pinch ran for Hill. So that is Manrique. All right, right now Jimmy Wynn's going to be facing, scheduled here is Lombardozzi, Puckett, and Herbeck. Going to get a pinch hitter for Lombardozzi, possibly. Although I don't know if they have anybody else to play second base because they've already used Newman. So they may be stuck with this. I think we're stuck with Lombardozzi because there's nobody else to play second base. So Lombardozzi is going to stay in there. It's going to have to. Bottom of the 9th, all tied up at 5 apiece, and Lombardozzi will have to bat against Jimmy Wynn. 2-5 for Lombardozzi, and he pops it up to third. Jerry Royster bringing a new defender, and the ball finds him. Although that was an easy play. Here's Kirby Puckett. He could walk it off with one swing of the bat. 1-6, and that's a double. 1-13. It will be a double for Puckett, and with first base open, they will walk Herbeck intentionally. His run doesn't mean anything. And they'll take their chances with Gene Larkin and try to set up a double play to get out of the inning. Larkin is 3 for 4. That's a 2, chance for a balk or a pass ball. Looking at a balk rating on Jimmy Wynn. See what the computer has to say about that. Jimmy Wynn's balk rating is a 0, so no balk chance. 3-6 for Larkin. And that's a home run, 1-2, double 9-20. That's out of here. Double, not out of here, but it's a double. It's going to walk off the game. And the Twins win it in the bottom of the 9th, 6-5. Reardon actually blows a save and gets the win. And Jimmy Wynn takes the loss. The Twins walk it off after blowing the game. They do walk it off. And we'll go to the computer and set everything up for tomorrow for Friday's game. Winning pitcher was Jeff Reardon. He's now 4-2 with the win, but he blew his 6th save. So let's see, Straker, 8 innings pitched, 8 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks and a strikeout. Reardon, 1 inning pitched, 1 hit and a run. 1 walk, no strikeouts. Dotson pitched well, but scattered 10 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Jimmy Wynn went a third of an inning, Gave up 2 hits and a run and a walk. So final line score, 6 runs, 12 hits, and no errors for the Twins. White Sox, 5 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. Winning pitcher Reardon, 4-2. Losing pitcher Jimmy Wynn, he drops to 2-5. Twins improved to 31-35. White Sox dropped to 29-34. And Gene Larkin is your player of the game. He went 4 for 5, including the game-winning double. 4 for 5. So let's look at the standings and see what we make of the standings now after this one. With the victory, the Twins now have pulling a half game ahead of the White Sox and only are a half game behind Kansas City for third place. They're now 8.5 back of the A's. Kansas City will play tomorrow against California. And if Kansas City loses that game, the Twins will tie them for third place. As we look ahead for tomorrow, speaking of that game, that will be the game on tap for tomorrow. It'll be Don Sutton and Danny Jackson, Kansas City at California. That'll be the game for Friday. And like I said, Kansas City comes in here 30-33. And California in second place is 35-31. They are 4.5 games behind first place Oakland. Don Sutton against Danny Jackson is going to be your pitching matchup. So thank you all for spending part of your Thursday with me. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.